So I talked to the owner of this 1942 Harley frame here this past week, kind of going over what some of the problems are that I found, and kind of questioning him on the severity of the accident he was in, and he expressed it wasn't that bad. He actually rode the bike home. That it slid on its side. The front fender has some damage, but the reality is he can use some of these parts still. So started questioning him a bit more about certain items, like, okay, so when you pulled the seat post out, was the sides of the springs wore out? And he says, actually they were. So when you see worn out springs on a seat post, that's going to indicate that seat post is bent a bit, because what it's doing is as it's going up and down and compressing and expanding, it's rubbing on the inside of the seat post, wearing out the springs. So I've come across this a few times over the years, and I explained to him some of the other issues that we have, and he remarked it always felt like it was a bit crooked going down the road. It wasn't right. So prior to him getting in that last accident, something had to have happened to this frame, in the previous 50 years, probably a substantial accident, and he didn't get to rectify it, so we're going to rectify it now. So I got one more night I'm going to work on this. I still feel like the casting is bent, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this bike goes down the road straight. And we're going to play it by ear. We're going to see how it works, but that might entail taking the neck and actually making it a bit crooked, not square to the frame. Because what's more important than that is having the bike track properly. So having that the front end is square to the frame, and right now it's not. It's off to the right. So I might manipulate this whole casting over a bit, which is going to make some of the frame not straight, but it's going to make the fork straight, because in my opinion, from this point here, right here, this is bent in this casting. So again, what's more important, that it goes down the road straight. If there'd be so little visual up here that you would see, especially since the tanks are covering it. The only thing that you might have to do on this bike would be a little bit of shimming on the gas tanks, on the back mounts, because it might be off just a bit. Your dash will be all correct. It'll all line up. You won't even see it, but I'll know that we're going to be doing something a little bit different than I ever have. But again, end result, frame, fork are in line, and it's going to run down the road straight. If that, just to make it clear, if I have to bend this top tube over slightly to get this result, that's what I'm going to do. I hope you understand what I'm doing and follow along. We're going to put some stress on this frame tonight. So I've got the perimeter frame moved back. I have a porter power pushing on the backbone at the back here on the top tube, and then I've got a porter power pushing, not pulling this time, so I can keep this bar in the neck so I can kind of watch it. I don't like pushing on cast, so I put this rubber end on it, and I'm going to give you a quick little view here. So I got a spacer on here, goes against here. You can see, it's about an inch And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tweak this thing over. Let's get this going here. So start pushing. And when I'm pushing on this, I can watch this neck start moving. I'm looking right now. I'm looking past the seat post, past the front tube, and I can see the bottom of that, the bottom of this bar moving this way. So I'm going a little bit past than I normally would, but I want to get this going here. So it's at about a 1/2 inch, so I have moved it over. I'm going to show you this right now. I bet you we're very close. Remember, this has got to be 13/64. So we're about just over 3/8. So I can watch that neck. I can see this tube is now pretty straight. So right now I've got about 1/4. Remember, I could put my whole hand in there. Now there's about 1/4. Now I go past. So toss a bit more pressure there. I'm gonna just push on this. And there's about 1/8 of an inch. And it's touching. So I've moved this at this point over 1 inch. But then it's going to retract back. So now I went a little bit past that, so I can. So right now, this is touching here, and it's about 1/8 of an inch off center. It's not actually touching this tube. So I'm gonna go one more time because I just want to really get that over, and then I'm gonna release this slowly. And I don't know. I don't think I have good luck here. Well, it's about 3/4 inch, so it actually moved about 1 inch. So I took the porta power, put it on the bottom tube this time, and I'm going to reef on this one and see if we can't continue this movement. It's not going to be as efficient because I don't get the leverage from going on the top tube, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. So right there, we're about 1/4 of an inch. I almost need a third port of power. That's about 1/8. And then I can put another one on the top here and push it this way. About 1/2 inch now. If I just do a quick setup with the laser level, and I center it on that big casting mark, you can see now, it's hard to see, but right now, just right about there, centered here, but it's only off a little bit here. It's off about 1/4 inch here. So again, if you have your springer on, you know, let's say the springer's here, that means your tire's gonna be off by 1/4 inch where it should be. Again, this is another measurement. We're 1/2 inch here. You're supposed to be 13/64 of an inch gap between here and there, so you know we gotta push it over some more. And I think I'm just gonna set up on that top tube again, crank her over, and see what happens. So I've got that all set up again. I've already started adding pressure to this neck and the top tube. Again, we're touching here, and we're 1/8 of an inch here. So I was already at that point last time, so I gotta give it more. All right. So we're gonna release the pressure here. We'll use the Harley measurements here. I'm gonna say we're about, I'm gonna say 1/2 inch. So we're less than 1/2 inch. Okay. So I got this springer here just to give an idea where the rockers would be. So if we kind of do this, this is the point here. So right about here is the end of the springer. So you know what, I'll just do a quick measurement here. Just over 17 inches. So we'll call that the bottom of the springer. So you can still see that it's bent over a bit, but like I say, it's in this casting. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get it perfect, but it is a lot better than it ever was. If I try and get this more, I'm going to make that back mount. I'm going to have to push it over. I don't want to do that. I've done a little bit and I've compensated for this, but I don't like giving up. But I think I've gotten to the point where you got to kind of split the difference, you know. So we'll call it a day on this frame. Every other frame I've done, I've had this bang on perfect, but none of these necks on any of those other frames were bent like this. This frame had to have been in a massive wreck, where if you envision it, this is how I think. Here's your fork. This thing got hit this way, taking that fork and bending it, because you got a lot of leverage here, bending this section of the casting, because in this parallel line, this is a very strong frame, because you got 3 points all in the same, they're all perpendicular to each other, so there's a lot of strength there. But it twisted here. So after a bit of a frustrating night, I'm rethinking this one. I feel like if I had one more porter press, I could really manipulate how I want it to go, and that's what's next on the agenda, is to get another porter press, so I can push in 3 positions and really manipulate that neck over. I'm not happy with it, and I can't let it go. I gotta get it perfect. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Sorry, I wish I could have finished this one tonight. You're seeing the toughest one I've ever had to do. Let's put it that way. I got a little bit frustrated here with this because, the other 8 to 10 frames I've done, they were challenging, but nothing like this. I mean, this is next level, and I'm just not sure what other possibilities or things you can do to these. I'm not sure if you can heat these up. I'm not going to do it. It's on my frame. I'm not doing that. But yeah, I mean, this frame's way better than it ever was from when we started. I mean, it's been all kinds of improvements. It's just I want my measurement. I want that measurement to be right. I want this bike to go down the road perfect, as best as I can, to the best of my abilities. So again, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribing, please subscribe, and follow my adventures of old motorcycles and helping get these bikes back on the road where they belong. Have a great day.